It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball!
SKOR North Twins Show, live from Target Field. Declan Goff here hanging out with you guys. From the ballpark, Twins having the White Sox here. It's Bark at the Park for the YouTube audience. I think there's like dogs behind me on this TV. Bark at the Park Part 2 tonight at Target Field as the Twins are in September, in the dog days of the end of the season. We had a SKOR North Twins Show with Trevor Plouffe. You can go check out too. Plouffe was great. We went like 45 minutes. We more talked big picture stuff about, what the Twins can do to kind of dig themselves out of the rut they're in. Not just on the field, more importantly off the field. So go check that out. And if you haven't already hit the like button, subscribe button. We had an awesome surge there of subscribers and people that have supported the show, even during the trade deadline, but even after it. So I'm still pumping out Twins content. Headline today, David Festa is likely done for the season, so I'll dive into that here in just a bit, plus latest minor league stuff. Anything else, too, you guys are looking for. I do have a baby on the way, so I only have so many probably days left to cover any breaking news and SKOR North Twins Show stuff, but this show will still live on throughout the year. It still lives on year-round in the off-season, too, so it doesn't slow down. Hit the like button, subscribe button. Appreciate everyone who has done that. So David Festa's season, it's likely over. He had, it sounds like, a setback either during his last bullpen or sometime leading up to it. So he is going to be evaluated by Dr. Keith Meister, the arm guru. I believe he's technically, is he the team doctor of the Rangers, but does a lot of these surgeries. But he's going to go get looked at. He's been on the IL with shoulder inflammation. It's unclear if it's, another more problems with the shoulder, which I think is probably a fair assumption. I don't think that's confirmed yet. But he's going to be reevaluated and is likely going to be done for the year. He last appeared in a rehab appearance with the Twins on August 28th, which was Thursday. Today's Tuesday, September 6th, so 5 days ago from this recording. Went 2 2/3, didn't allow a hit. He struck out 5. He did walk a few, but looked promising. But he felt something, and he's going to now go see Keith Meister, likely wiping out the rest of his season, which is a bummer. I'll be honest, it's a bummer for just a personal reason. But I was curious where Festa fit in with the Twins' plans for the rest of this month, and now I'm even more curious on what he fits in beyond this month. I was pontificating, do they move him to the bullpen? Is he someone that it might be more beneficial for him to go to the bullpen? I mean, he's got good extension. He has really good swing and miss stuff. His secondary pitching, his slider, his changeup, he added a sinker this year. Those are plus pitches. His fastball's gotten knocked around a bit, but he has shown to get swing and miss, and he has great extension because of his kind of lanky frame there. I think there's a really intriguing bullpen arm there. He's made 25 appearances in the major leagues. He owns a career ERA of 5.12. So he's thrown 117 innings. He is, I believe, 25 years old. He'll turn 26 at spring training next year. But two things. Number one, if it's a shoulder and it's significant shoulder surgery, which always trips me up saying, there's a possibility where his 2026 is wiped out. If you're a pitcher, it's obviously no secret. You don't want to hear two things, elbow and shoulder, right? So he'll get reevaluated, and we'll see where he kind of fits in, not just, if this last month of 2025, which is likely over, but how he fits into the plans in 2026. And even though he's 26, will be 26 next year, ironically enough, not giving up on him after 25 starts and just saying that's it, I would understand why maybe you'd like to keep him in a starting role, and you always need as much starting pitching as possible. But you have to remember, as of right now, this bullpen, ladies and gentlemen, that is trotting out here tonight, there could be 5, if not more, new faces in the opening day bullpen for the Twins in 2026. And personally, I think one of them, and a pitcher you already know stuff about, is David Festa. So yes, we We don't know the severity of the injury, and if he's heading towards major shoulder surgery or reconstruction, then this next season is likely, unfortunately, wiped out. If this is a cleanup, if this is something that maybe isn't as invasive or as stressful, then maybe he still fits into the plan. Plus, again, maybe this is just me talking in and trying to prove make this idea true to be. If you want to limit his workload, you start him as a reliever. So I think a bullpen option for Festa next year is great. It was funny. I joked with Rocco after we were kind of getting the news of Festa that, man, this takes out actually an idea I had for you of throwing him in the bullpen, because I think there's something to be had there with him. So Festa's season is over. He mixed in that sinker this year. He was a 3-pitch pitcher last year, fastball, slider, changeup. And that changeup and slider are plus pitches. Like, even though his, I see it, his ERA, right? We're talking about he's got a 5.4 ERA. His changeup this year, opponents hit 113 against and had a whiff percentage of 44%. That is nasty stuff. So the slider's still a plus pitch for him. He's got to figure out, obviously, though, how not to get his fastball banged. And maybe if that's going to the bullpen and ticking up in the velocity a little bit, the Twins have shown, I know they traded Jax and Varland, but they have shown that they can develop really solid relief pitching options. So I would like to see that. I'd like to see Festa, if he's okay, as someone that could certainly go to the bullpen. Seeing some questions here, too, in the YouTube comment section. So if you have any questions, comments, by all means, drop them in. I'll be hanging out here for a little bit from Target Field. We have a listener event up on the executive balcony tonight for a private little event from our Courage Kenny donations. Going to be very fun walking through the executive suite at Target Field with what's been said about the Twins over the last month. But hey, gracious of the Twins for giving our listeners and helping us support a really amazing cause with Courage Kenny. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, hit me up here on the YouTube section. Two things and kind of dovetailing from off each other. Vitsky says, I wonder if one of Abel or Zebby could end up in the pen in 2026. Abel struggled to throw strikes. Zebby doesn't have a problem necessarily. He's had a more difficulty throwing strikes this year than last year in his upbringing. I would like to see Zebby get run in as a starting pitcher. Abel, this is interesting. Still young, one of the best pitching prospects in baseball not too long ago. I would like for him to fine-tune things before we punt on him being a bullpen arm or pulling the plug on him being a starting pitcher. But I think both of them factor into being starters in 2026. I don't think it's as clear with Festa, in my opinion. I think the path is clear. He should be likely in the bullpen. So we'll see there. And then Morgan Sounds, this will provide opportunities for guys on the YouTube section, for guys like Zebby and Taj to prove themselves. Yeah, Taj Bradley had a really nice outing his last time out in his second appearance. Mentioned how he studied the scouting reports for like the first time ever. That shocks me. Shocks me also wasn't doing that in Tampa Bay. I don't know, man. Everyone's got their own way of going about things, and Taj has pitched in the big leagues for a while. He's gotten here, so something works. Pitchers are weird dudes. But studied the scouting report, had a really strong outing. So Taj will get numerous starts here. Abel was sent back down to AAA St. Paul to just work on things. But it is, a good little question there. Trying to figure out how all these options do fit in, right? I mean, Pablo Lopez, Simeon Woods Richardson are going to be back in the rotation here likely very soon. Or Simeon is obviously pitching already today here on Tuesday. Pablo back very soon. Probably this weekend, too. I think there's an opening, I believe is on Friday, the first game in Kansas City. So I think the first Pablo day or his first appearance back on the mound with the Twins since going on the injured list, what was that, in late May when they were in Sacramento. It looks like probably making his return to the Twins potentially on Friday in Kansas City. So that is exciting for Pablo Lopez to likely be coming back there. But yeah, there's some intriguing pitching options still the Twins get to figure out. Because next year, if they don't trade Joe Ryan and Pablo, that is a very formidable 1-2. Bailey Ober's had a very rocky season. It's obviously been his worst season as a pro. I don't know, and no one really kind of knows what's up there. He's been a guy that's been able to eat innings and has been just a very consistent pitcher with the Twins, but this year hasn't gone well. If he's healthy and he's good to go, he's likely going to be obviously in the opening day rotation too next year as a 3 or 4. And then you have, Taj and Zebby and Simeon Woods Richardson, and if Mick Abel factors into that, right? Like, so there's a lot of depth finally here. And Kendrys Rojas, who they got in the Louis Varland trade, Rojas is throwing tonight for the St. Paul Saints. So maybe people consuming this after the Saints game wraps up in Kentucky, or is it Louisville? Doesn't matter. But Rojas in 4 starts with the Saints this year, an ERA of 3.78. He has pitched 16 innings, so he's gotten some mix in here. He's had he was with Toronto, only made just a few starts with them. I think he start his career or battled an injury this season. But he made a first start in Bluefield and then was out for a few months before eventually returning to when he was in Toronto's system in June, and then was traded to the Twins. So Kendrys Rojas factors in. That was the only, I think, one of my not saving grace, but that's what I wanted to see if the Twins were going to sell at the deadline, and I did not anticipate it going the way it did. But you needed to get more major league pitchers back, and the Twins did, or at least not in major league pitchers, but pitchers that are knocking on the door of contributing to the major league level. You need as many darts as possible there. So I kind of like that one. So we'll I don't know with long term all those guys will work out. It's likely they won't. However, if they hit on some of these guys in that trade deadline selling, like, there will be some saving grace to it. Still disagree with the Varland trade. I don't like the Louis Varland trade. And Alan Rodin, he had thumb surgery, so his season is out, wiped out too. So Rodin should get a good look next year. It'd be even with the thumb injury, and he didn't look too effective at the plate, but you don't trade Louis Varland and then also give up on Alan Rodin. What does that mean, though, for like Trevor Larnach and Matt Wallner's future? Just because, again, now you have too many guys at 1 or 2 positions available, right? So, these are really interesting things for the Twins to figure out. We'll probably have more with the Twins. Essentially, 13, 14 games out of 500. They're close to tragic number hitting, which is too bad. I usually love doing a magic number countdown. Not the case. Tragic number countdowns on. We'll be looking at more big picture stuff here on the SKOR North Twins Show, and even some more updates probably from St. Paul. Walker Jenkins is there. He's off to a little bit of a slow start. Walker Jenkins is, since being promoted from Wichita. Currently, he has played, Walker that is, in 6 games with the Saints. He's 1 for 20 in his first 20 at bats. He's young, man. He's 20 years old, and what I have learned just from number one, working with the St. Paul Saints before, who used to be an independent league team, but also being around baseball now, like, the AAA level has guys that are obviously former big leaguers. They're more veteran and seasoned guys. So when a 20-year-old, even though he's got high pedigree and he could be the next face of a franchise, he's 20 years old and he's facing guys that are 6 or 7 years older than him that have multiple more years of experience playing pro ball than Walker Jenkins does. So I wouldn't fret, about a 1 for 20 start. I wouldn't fret if the season ends there with him at AAA and he struggled to get things going. He's being overmatched, and that's what's happening. So Walker Jenkins, though, down there with the Saints, he is batting third on Tuesday for the Saints in center field. Gabby Gonzalez is down there hitting the cover off the ball well. Aaron Sabato kind of had a resurgence. I don't know if he fits in the Twins' long-term plans. The Twins did make some 40-man roster additions, none of them being, Gonzalez yet, none of them being maybe someone, like Sabato. Twins 40-man roster, you have to, well, number one, they're not going to make the playoffs, so there's that. But the roster obviously expands to 40 players. If you were on the 40-man before September 1st, you're eligible for the postseason. That's not going to happen for the Twins. But they called up Noah Davis. They added Deshaun Kersey Jr. Marco Raya is on the 40-man roster. If I wouldn't be surprised if Raya gets a look. Again, this is just kind of easy things to deduct when you break down where guys are on the roster. So Jose Miranda's having just a terrible season. I have no idea what his future is, and maybe we do already kind of know what it is with the Twins beyond this year. But he's obviously down there as well. Carson McCusker, who they've gotten a little look at here and there. He's on the 40-man roster. As Emmanuel Rodriguez, is he back with the Saints? I know he has had injury battles all year. There's what's interesting is a lot of national prospect lists still have Emmanuel Rodriguez very high. He's regarded still as a very high prospect, one of the 50 best in baseball. You know, he he was in Fort Myers. Yep, he was in Fort Myers playing with the Mighty Muscles. Went 1 for 5 or 1 for 3 a few days ago, and 1 for 3 the other day. So he's had starts and stops. There's a lot of intriguing prospects there. So if he can stay healthy, maybe, but I doubt at this point he gets a look with the Twins, just because he's barely played AAA, and they haven't really been able to get a good look at him. So I think either he goes to the Saints or not. On Kalen Culpepper, so Wichita is in a playoff race still in Double-A. They obviously promoted Walker Jenkins, which they were fine with. But typically when you're in a playoff hunt like that, I know the minor league, some people would say it doesn't matter, it's minor league baseball. But if you're in a playoff hunt, those teams and those organizations are still chasing a championship and chasing winning their leagues and their divisions. So Kalen Culpepper's still down there. I don't know if he'll get promoted to the Saints. If they get eliminated from postseason play, he might get a run. But right now, I don't think he factors in necessarily to the Saints plan yet. And now that he was a first-round pick last year, plays pro ball for the first time. So, it's a long year. They probably want to be patient, and they don't want to, necessarily rush him up there as well. So he's going to factor into the Twins' plans next year for sure, especially if he continues to show what he was able to do at the plate this year. But yeah, there's some interesting dudes in the Twins prospect system going forward beyond 2005 or 2025-26. Tyler says, Dex, did you bring Vinny to the game? I think it's take your pet to the ball game. I did not bring the Vinster. The Vinster is at home hanging out. So no Vinny at the park. There might be some rain in the forecast on Tuesday, so hopefully things stay dry. Obviously, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I think that'll probably do it from me here from Target Field. So thank you guys for hanging out. Hit that like button, subscribe button. Go check out our episode with Coach Trev, which was a fun one as well today, kind of looking at the big picture of things. And hit me up if you have any questions on the Twins, whether it's guys currently on the roster that you want more info about, prospects. Try to cover it all here on the SKOR North Twins Show. Appreciate you guys, and we'll be talking at you soon.